Hello everybody, welcome back to my television review series. Today we'll be discussing Yellowstone Season 4. Again, kind of getting back into a hybrid, what I used to do, about, writing down most of the plot developments, not all of them, but it just depends how I'm watching the show. But I am going to change up how I do these a little bit, since again I've seen such profoundly explosive growth in my YouTube channel. I want to keep my content as accessible as possible to as many people. So I'm going to give you the overall grade and just some general impression thoughts first. And then if you want to shut off the video in case you haven't seen the shows, because typically I said I made these ones for people who watch the show and just want to hear somebody else talk about the scenes that they watched. But I'll give you my overall grade first. I'll do some general impressions. I'll just give you my overall grade, then I'll go through the plot synopsis, and then we'll talk about character development over the season and any major themes. So I think season 3 ended with a B+. I'm going to drop it down to a B-. And I think I started the first couple seasons, 1 and 2, I think was at A-, and now we're down to B-. Just a lot of the character development is pretty stale for me throughout this one. So there you had, that's my overall impression. So if you want to if you have not seen Yellowstone season 4 and you're going to watch it, now's when you want to shut off this video. Now I'm going to give you my plot synopsis, talk about the character development and major themes. So at the end of season 3, shit was hitting the fan. The ops were making moves on all of the Duttons. So, opening season, or episode of season 4, we have Casey murks the ops. Rip finds John. He's kind of bleeding out on the side of the road. Beth is badly injured from a bomb. Can't tell how bad at the opening scene, but she's got a very bad back burn. Tate slumps an op, that's Monica and Casey's son. They're getting attacked at the ranch. Casey's getting attacked at the livestock commissioner's office. John got attacked on the side of the road, and Monica's getting her head beat in, and Tate pops out and takes the op out. So Tate slumps the op. There's a huge gunfight with the van crews. Casey chases him down, shoots 2 dudes at the office, and then chases down a crew. And Casey gets hit pretty bad, and he gets shot twice. The bunkhouse is hanging more ops. Rip's house is burnt. So again, there's a big gunfight. The killers are making the moves on the Duttons and everyone involved, and everyone's just killing everybody. You get a flashback scene to 1893 with an Indian burial request. And I don't know if it's John's father, grandfather, great-grandfather, I'm not exactly sure the generation, but it was 1893. And just basically one of the Duttons allowing an Indian to bury on their land. Beth consoles a kid. You get a new person named, I think it's Carver or Carter, one of the two. I think it's Carter, maybe. We'll call him Carter. But just some dude, his dad's dying of meth, and Beth is outside the hospital for John, and the kid's like, let's go say goodbye to my father, and he basically like, fuck you, you dumb worthless piece of fucking shit, and Beth's like, nice. Mo tortures a dude bragging about the hit. Jimmy is in rehab. Beth threatens Jamie. Rip kills Rourke with a snake. Basically, some dude at the casino is talking about the hit on the Duttons. Mo wants to know who it is because him and Chief Thomas think they'll come after them next. So Jimmy's in rehab. Again, he was on the ground after being told, after the first time of wrecking his shit on rodeoing, he did it again. Now he's back in rehab, and John sees him. Casey doesn't think Jamie did the hit. Market Equities tries to work with Broken Rock. Well, on the Rourke with a snake, Rip just goes up to him with a poison snake. That's the dude from Market Equities fishing in the river, and throws a snake on his face, bites him, and he dies really quickly after. Market Equities tries to work with Broken Rock. Casey doesn't think Jamie did the hit. Again, Beth is telling John that she thinks it would be Jamie who set up the attack. Schwartz and Meyer wants to buy Beth out. Beth helps the hospital kid. Rip kicks him out, hires him. John wants to expand Yellowstone's name. Basically, Beth helps the kid, brings him back to their new place, and again they have another cabin on the ranch. Rip kicks him out. and then hires him back. He'll chase him down type of deal. Livestock crew continues to slump the ops. And there's another shootout scene with some vans. John is sending Jimmy to Texas and attempts to expand Yellowstone's name. And Jimmy needs to, again, from after being seen at the rehab again, John sends him to Texas with his, I think it's called the 4 Sixes Ranch. And there's a guy that takes him down. His name is Travis. Tom and Mo show John who attacked. Casey investigates cattle guards, which I have a question mark. I just don't know what cattle guard is until I saw it in the show. Tate wants to stay under the bed. Monica flip-flops on Casey, tells him he hates her. So Tom and Mo bring John, the attacker. John kills him off of the side of the cliff of the train station, and basically gives him a chance. He throws a gun on the ground and unloads his gun. It's this is as fair as you're gonna get, and they both go for guns. The criminal dude gets one shot off. John kills him over the side of the valley. There's a cattle guards, again, some dude being a bad neighbor, just putting up things so cattle can't cross them. It's just this big grate thing, so I guess cattle can't walk on it. Casey puts the dude in there, just teach him to be a good neighbor. Tate's all upset about murking the op earlier, a couple episodes ago. And Monica, again, this is one of the relationships that I said is getting stale for me. The Monica and Casey, Beth and John's relationship gets stale. Monica and Casey's relationship gets stale. Jamie and Beth's relationship gets very stale. But she says she hates him, and it's two scenes later, she's I don't hate you, I would have left, but she wants to leave the Yellowstone ranch. Market Equities wants to hire Beth. Beth wants to bankrupt Schwartz and Meyer. So again, another just weird, again, the overdrawn business interactions of Market Equities. Why would they ever hire Beth in any real sense? In real life would never fucking happen. But again, it's such a cutthroat businesswoman. You can come work for us when we're done with this. That's a very stale interaction for me. But she wants to bankrupt Bob, who I guess is no longer tucking it in his sock because they want to buy out Beth. Casey visits Jamie, asks for a visit with the jail hitman. Jamie agrees to help with no hesitation. Basically, John's Casey, go ask Jamie this. If he hesitates in any way, he's probably involved, and he does not. And from the omniscient audience view, Jamie was not involved in the hit. Monica, Tate, Casey move to Monica's grandparents. Jamie realizes his dad is associated with the hit team and interviews the prisoner. Basically, there's just some dude in prison who was told was the hit guy, who organized it, and he sees his dad's name. I think his dad's name's Randall, but he sees he's associated with it, and then he confronts him later on. Protests at Casey's office about animal rights, presses charges. Rip punishes Lloyd. Basically, you meet this new chick, Summer, who John bangs a couple times. Who's rather substantially younger than her, probably around Beth's age. I think the actual actress who plays Beth is 44. That's why I thought she was 40, but in the show she says she's 35, like the character. But just some animal rights protests, and John wants to press charges against the chick named Summer. Beth takes a job at Market Equities, controls interest in Schwartz and Meyer, and fires Bob. Basically, Beth says that, I'll take the job for Market Equities if I can control. All I want is the Schwartz and Meyer controlling interest, and then fires Bob. Jamie has a kid with the old campaign girlfriend, which that interaction a couple seasons ago about his campaign girlfriend leaving him was just weird. I was just get another political rating that just did nothing for me. It was kind of off-putting. John bangs the protester, basically pays for her bail. It's let me show you my land. And then in the morning, John has another lovely interaction with Beth and Summer. Again, every single time Beth gets up and leaves from the table, it's just stale. Move on. Casey and Monica get a house together. Jamie confronts his dad, pulls up with his guns, were you involved with attacking the Duttons? And Randall's of course I was. But Jamie kind of lets it slide for a little bit. Lloyd smashes Walker's guitar and knifes him. Teeter gets to stay. Basically, when Rip punishes Lloyd, He's just, again, for fighting. Again, if you want to fight somebody, fight Rip on the ranch. But last season, it was Casey took over, so we're supposed to fight Casey now. So plot hole. But Walker literally Lloyd destroys Walker's guitar and knifes him, literally throws a knife at him after, again, Laramie, the friend of Mia, who was dating Jimmy before he went to, and they're no longer dating now because he went to Texas with Travis. But it's over Laramie, who used to, again, dance. They explicitly say in the show she didn't sleep with Lloyd, but Lloyd just, again, feeling some type of way about Walker and throws a knife at him. And then Teeter gets to stay. Basically, Rip's like, all of the girls have to leave. And Teeter's like, I'm one of the best, hardest working hands you have. Don't throw me out. John is going to run for governor to stop Jamie from running. There's a scene where they're going to the governor's going to introduce her endorsement for the next one. Jamie thinks it's going to be him, and then it's John. Mo and Casey find stolen horses. Lloyd trades his buckle for a new guitar for Walker. Other Native American wants Casey's meat. He says nah. So Mo and Casey find some stolen horses. Lloyd trades in his rodeo buckle for a new guitar for Walker, which again, it's kind of inconsistent. Again, the plot, I'm gonna throw a knife at you, and then we're just gonna be cool after I get you a new guitar, after I almost stabbed you through the heart and you almost died. So not very believable there. You get a flashback scene to John's father chasing horse thieves and dying. Basically, he gets shot and dying on the floor in the kitchen of his parents' home. Jimmy claps new cheeks in Texas. He gets a new girlfriend down there. Rip and Beth, again, Mia's like, if you leave here, we're done. And he leaves here. She has some regrets of that later on. Rip and Beth and Carter move into the main lodge. Another weird, again, John, the patriarch of the family, wants his grown daughter to live under the same roof. Again, just stale. Tate gets a boner and Monica gets pregnant. I know Tate's coming of age, gets a raging Woody in the bathroom, and Monica's like, Casey, you should talk to him. And Casey's like, he grew up on a ranch, he's been seeing horses fuck his whole life. And Monica gets pregnant with a second child. Rip and John go to meet with Donnie while a diner is being robbed, and Donnie dies. Basically, Rip and John are going to see about if they can, attack the prisoner who set up the hit against them. When they're approaching the diner, they see it's being stuck up. They kind of walk around the back. John goes in, Rip shoots the dudes in the foot. Big gunfight, whacks the dude holding one of the waitresses hostage. But Donnie gets shot in the meantime, calls his daughter, doesn't really get to say goodbye. Summer gets arrested and charged. DA wants life. Beth set her up. John is very not happy with Beth setting up the Summer, just about how she fights, and she gets charged and arrested. Casey does a suffering ritual throughout the season, and throughout several of the episodes. Basically, he's been seeing the wolf's been seeing him and Monica bang it out, so just some Native American thing, no food and water for 4 days, and just sit in this little square under a tree. Emily and Mia fight over Jimmy, and Jimmy chooses the new cheeks. So Jimmy comes back from Texas, has to bring some horses or something. He brings it's now his fiance, Emily, and Mia. It's on site. Right when they come into the bunkhouse, Jimmy introduces her, Mia just attacks her because she's feeling some type of way. John forgives Jimmy's debt. Again, Jimmy was supposed to go down to Texas till he'd come back and ready to work or something and pay off the rehab bills. But John's like, if you're with your fiance, we're all good. Just go be a good family man. Beth gets fired from Market Equities. Again, not surprising. That whole interaction, Beth working there was just strange. Looks to kill someone. Basically, asks Walker about getting the stuff into prison. Goes to prison, confronts the prison hitman, and finds out, what Jamie's involvement was. And she gets impromptu married to Rip. And they were going to go find some of their own pasture, but she just wants to do that before she confronts Jamie and the guy in prison. And she basically kidnaps a Catholic priest to oversee the ceremony. I'm pretty sure it's Pres Bellucci from The Wire. Pretty dominant or distinctive facial structure. But they get married. Summer gets 15-year sentence against John's advice on the plea. Basically, John talks to the judge Mitchell, and he owes John something. John doesn't have much sway, but he's like, hey, take it easy on her. And right before the sentence, Summer pleaded not guilty. The court asked her if she's going to change her plea. Once she does that, she can't do anything about it. And John's like, I'd rather go with the jury than what the judge does, and he imposes a rather harsh sentence. John talks to him afterward, and he says, basically by Friday, appeal it, and we'll see, but hopefully get it down. Jamie kills his father, Lenny-ish style. Lenny from Of Mice and Men. He doesn't actually I think the dad knows he's gonna get shot, but he's just down by the river talking about looking out all these things. The past 6 months were great, and then Jamie kills him. Basically, Beth gave him, I'm gonna tell Rip about how you had the abortion and it got me, made me infertile or sterilized, and he's gonna kill you, or you can kill your dad. And so Jamie whacks his father, and then when he's going to dump the body, Beth takes pictures to have complete blackmail. And that's pretty much the resolution. And then Carver, Carter, and John go on a horse ride. So, overall, again, a lot of the characters got stale. I mentioned throughout the ones I did. All of the characters kind of getting a little stale to me, and it's just always like, every time John talks, or Casey talks, or Beth talks, or Monica talks, it's like one-liner philosophy where the audience is supposed to be like, wow, what a profound realization. I just like to see the plot develop. Like, keep it interesting, keep it moving, have new stuff develop. The philosophical stuff, the character insecurity, for me, it's always detracting. Again, I can't stop looking at Beth's lip fillers. And just every time she talks in a real, stirring way, and then there's just, fucking lip filler coming over her teeth, it's just like, oh, God. So this one's losing a little steam for me. Still enjoy it. Again, my grading scale is A is super entertaining or super well done. B is entertaining. C is whatever. D is off-putting. F is I turned it off or left the theater. So there you have it. That is my review for Yellowstone Season 4.